안녕하세요, 여러분. 잘 지냈어요? 잘 지냈어요. 네, 잘 지냈어요. 음, 알았어. 그래서 저는 잘 마시고 있어요. 음, you can't see it. 맛있어요. 잘해요, 좋아해요. I drink a lot of it. How do you say that? 저는 잘 많이 마셔요. I drink a lot of tea. So this bit of rambling is going to be mostly in English. So I decided I'm going to start writing more. I actually kind of hate writing, but not really. Only because I feel like it takes me so long. Um, Not really too much with the typing, but it's kind of like the same with speaking, and I think that's why I want to write more. I was reading and figured out that writing is actually really good to help with language learning and speaking because when I write, I have to stop and think what I'm writing. Just like when I try to speak in Korean, you see me, I'm um, like I know the words, like I know about 500 vocabulary words, really enough to say basic things like what I like to do or what I don't like and formulate those sentences. But when it's time to formulate the sentences, I have to stop and think so much of because of the structure. If you don't know, Korean structure is subject, object, verb, and if you are an English speaker, our sentence structure is subject, verb, object. So like we say, I want to go to the park. I is the subject, want is the verb, to the park is the object. Korea, they would say I to the park, want to. So it's simple and not hard too much when it's a simple sentence like that. You know, 저는 I forgot to say park. 공원. What did you say? 공원. 공원에 가고 싶어요. Maybe I want to go to the park, but if that's really park, but you guys get it. So, but when it's a sentence like I want to go to the park on Monday to feed birds. So it's like it's the subject, want to is the main verb. To go to the park on Monday to feed the birds is the entire object that's what you want to do. That's what the sentence is focusing on. But that whole to want to go to the park, that has to be formulated a certain way in that sentence. So it'll be like dogs feed is one part, and then it's hard. So in my head, I'll have to be like thinking like, okay, I want to go to the park on Monday to feed the dog or to feed the birds. I said. So then I'd be like, okay, I tune in birds. I don't know what birds is, but then I'd be like birds feed, like, cause you go backwards kind of. Then I'm like, gotta turn that into a noun and gotta turn that into an adjective. It's difficult. So
It's 12 o'clock.
It's 12 o'clock. My computer likes to tell me the time. Um, so that what makes it really difficult. And I run into these same difficulties when I am writing as well. Pause. 맛있어요. 진짜 맛있어요. I run into these same problems when writing, but usually it's a little bit easier because if I want to say something, I will write it in English and then I'll look at it. and I can just, it's easier to write it out in Korean. However, I don't want to do that anymore. I, wait, what is that? It's a piece of like hair. Sorry. I I want to just write without writing in English, because the same way as I'm writing it in English, it's me saying it in my head in English, but it's quicker for me to do it, like write it in Korean, because I can look right at the English sentence, as opposed to if I'm speaking it, I'm kind of thinking it, trying to think in English and think in Korean, and what I'm trying to learn is how to have a part of my brain know how to think in Korean. Think in Korean. I was trying to find that sentence in Korean. I want to think in Korean would be 저는 한국어를 생각해요. No, 생각하고 싶어요. 생각 생각 생각하고 싶어요. Something's wrong with that, but I'll fix it later. um, but yeah, so that's my goal. Definitely starting today. I don't know how much I want to write. I wanted to at least start with 10 sentences. That's a lot, but I want to try to start writing 10 sentences. It can be about anything, but I can't write in English first. I have to just write in Korean. I'm going to use Lang 8. It's like lang-8.com. And if you don't know about the website, I'll leave it below. You can go and even if you just have time to do this, if you like English, you can go and it's where people will write diary entries or journal entries, and it could be a couple of sentences to a whole essay, you know, and people will correct them. And it's really nice. So there's people who are trying to learn English, and I will go and correct their stuff for them. And then like Koreans will come and correct my entries for me. And it's very interesting. You can get multiple people correcting you. So it's a really good thing. So I want to start just writing. Maybe it's just something that a grammar point that I just learned. Like recently, I learned "huda to," which is like when you're comparing something like oranges taste better than apples or something like that. Like the better than would be where you put the puto to, because to is for more, like more than something, whatever. So if I want to like go in and just write sentences straight out of my head from that, and I want to just write them, like if I write them wrong, I write them wrong. The problem will be I try to use new vocabulary that I might not learn, but what somebody told me was just write it and then go back and fill in the vocabulary, because you can just like say, like for park, I couldn't remember the word for park, so I could have just been like 저는 park A and then 가고 싶어요. And then go back, and I was writing that, go back later and find the word for park. So don't stop writing to look up the vocabulary word of the word you don't know. You know where it's supposed to go in the sentence, so put it there in English and then come back and correct yourself. My 선생님, my tutor, also tells me to do that when I'm speaking to her. Like usually I'd be like, da-da-da, she asked me what I'm doing, what I did, and I'd be like, oh, I 저는 slept all day, because I don't know how to say that, or something like that. So that's my goal. Yeah, this week, this video is almost getting too long. This week, my game plan is, I wrote it down. I said I have like 10 episodes left on level 2 of Talk to Me in Korean. Talk to Me in Korean. So, I kind of want to finish those out, but then I realized 10 is a lot. But I probably can do 2 a day, so by Sunday. So I want to finish those out and, the concepts. But at minimum, I want to do 5 of them. So just in case I'm not comprehending something, I won't like rush through it. Then on Memorize for how to study Korean, I want to learn level 8 and 9, or at least start on level 9. Halfway through learning level 8 right now. That's for vocabulary. I want to record 3 of these videos, and this is my second one. Though I might not count it because it's not in Korean. So yeah, so 3 in me speaking in Korean. So I've only done 1 really. And then there's 2 reading paragraphs that I found on Link. Link is another website for language learning that I love, and I'm trying to read those every day, a couple of times a day, to get my reading better and seeing as I read. I've done a couple on here. As I read, am I improving my speed? Am I improving my pronunciation? So things like that, because I will read something and I get stuck because I look at it and I'm like, how do you pronounce those words again? So yeah, maybe I need to go through my Hangul some more and practice on that. But also, I want to improve my typing speed to about 30. I've gotten up to 28 words per minute, and I give it 100 that I'm doing for my typing, and I'll leave that below. And I also, in my Korean from zero, this book, I want to do chapter 10. This book is really kind of like a refresher book, because it's like stuff that I mostly already know. So when I go through things, it's kind of like a refresher. Like lesson 10 is future, past, and present tenses. I know all those tenses, so it's kind of good for me as like a refresher, just to refresh my memory and go back through it. It has 17 lessons, and for the most part, I pretty much already know all this stuff. So, and it's good for me to practice writing as well, like actual handwriting, because I suck at that. Okay, so this video is, how do you say it? Is yol, yeah, yose pun long, minutes long. How did I say minutes long? So I'm gonna stop here. So, 탐시간 가지. 안녕.